Hey, what's going on, investor? Juan Pablo here from 100% Finance. Hey, thanks for checking in. So happy to see you guys. So today, we're going to discuss how you can quit your day job through rental properties. Hey, and what my favorite type of rental property is. Hey, what's going on, investor? So I'm Juan Pablo. I'm a full-time real estate investor, and I happen to quit my day job at 30 years old by acquiring 30 rental units at the time. So I've obtained up to 72 units since then, and the last one I did was a 6 unit, all right? Now, I'm just gonna outline with you some of the steps that I took personally to quit my day job when I was still working at my 9 to 5, and you might wanna do this for yourself. All right, one of the first steps I did was I had to take a look at my personal financial situation. You might be thinking, well, why is that relevant? I'm here to learn more about rental properties. I'm here to learn more about how to acquire it, how you quit your job, and so forth. Well, let me explain. First and foremost, you have to see how much income you need from your passive income, how much passive income you need to replace your paycheck. And one of the ways I did that is I've completed what's called the PILE formula, P-I-L-E. Your passive income exceeds your living expenses by a margin. Okay, so what you need to do is get a personal financial statement, which we have on our share hub at 100%finance.com. And let's say you complete the income statement part of that, in which you outline all of your expenses, everything from taxes to toilet paper to tuna to traveling, everything you can name with a T. Let's say that total dollar figure is $5,000 a month. In other words, it costs you and your family $5,000 per month to live. Okay, so you take that number and you multiply by 150%, or 1.5 in your calculator. The 1.5, the 0.5 I should say, is a buffer to include miscellaneous items. Like you might forget to include haircuts, getting your hair done, getting your nails done, doing a tune-up on your car, Christmas gifts, Valentine's gifts. These are gifts that you don't necessarily, these are expenses that you don't necessarily spend on a monthly basis, but you do expend those type of costs nonetheless, right? So you want to make sure you factor that into a monthly total. So that's why we had that buffer. So back to the scenario. If your monthly living expenses is $5,000, multiply it times 1.5 in your calculator, and what do you get? $7,500. That $7,500, that represents your financial freedom goal. Meaning that's your goal that you need to hit in order to be financially free. And you have to make sure that you receive $7,500 in passive income. Got it? That's your goal. $7,500 a month in passive income. So I realized that early on that, okay, now I have a benchmark to aim for. And I gave myself a certain time frame to be able to hit that goal. And with that time frame, I realized, if I do about 2 deals a year, on average, for the next 3 to 4 years, then I should be able to be financially free independent so that I can quit my day job. And that's the process I took first. I took a full analysis of my income statement. Now there's another thing you can take a full analysis of in regard to your personal financial statement outside the income statement, your balance sheet. Your balance sheet shows your net worth. That's your assets minus your liabilities. So you want to see what assets do I have, whether it's a car free and clear, I have a house with built-in equity, in which I can leverage. So I can pull that cash out and use it towards real estate investing. And speaking of car situation, I did that with a car. I owned a 2001 Hyundai Santa Fe at the time, and I owned free and clear. The Kelly Blue Book value was $7,500. So I went to my credit union and just to see if I can do like a cash out refinance with this car. And they said, yeah. They said, hey, we'll give you a loan of $7,000 and you have to pay us, I forgot, maybe $100 to $150 a month. And I received $7,000 I can use to invest in a multi-unit property, which was great. So that's one of the first things you need to do, investor friend. Then once you figure out your financial freedom goal, all you have to do is buy 2 deals a year for the next 3, 4, or 5 years, depending on your level of assertiveness and aggression, depending on how strong you want to get there, and other resources that you have at your disposal to leverage, right? And it's so simple to do. And one of the things you need to do is take that big goal and break it down to bite-sized steps. So one of the things I did was, okay, in order for me to close 2 deals a year for the next 3, 4, 5 years, what I need to do is spend at least 20 hours a week doing real estate investment activities, period. And starting out, I didn't have the credit. Starting out, I didn't have the capital either. And starting out, I didn't have the know-how. So I brought nothing of value to the table. Hence the reason why I didn't have any real estate in my portfolio. So I said, okay, cool. With this 20 hours, I'm gonna spend, who knows, 25% of that time learning, getting my education on. I'm gonna be reading books like this, step-by-step blueprint of how to quit your day job, right? By yours truly. Or I will listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, which you're doing now, so kudos to you, right? I will learn. Plus, I will network. I might spend another 25% of my time networking. Networking with people who are at my level, so that way we can forge accountability groups, hold each other accountable. It's just like the gym, right? New Year's resolution, you know how it is. You want to lose weight, get in shape, and so forth. And you get the year kicked off strong because you're motivated, because everyone is like in that spirit of completing their resolutions. But then February, March, you tend to fizz away. Your goals tend to fizz away. Why? Because you lose motivation. You have no one holding you accountable to go to the gym. Now, if you had a personal trainer, right, in which you paid a lot of money, in which was showing up with you, making sure you do that extra push-up, that extra sit-up, that extra squat, even though you're sore, you're tired, you will do it. You'll stay committed. So that's why I recommend 25% of your time, network people on your level, as well as people above your level. If you have no properties in your portfolio, then network with someone who has 3 units, right? At least they had that experience. Take them out to lunch. Take them out for drinks, for coffee. Pick their brain. And get this too, by the way. If you're reaching out to someone and you want them to want them to provide value to you for free, like their experiences, their successes, their best practices, their tips and tricks to the trade, their secrets, by all means, you should pay for it. Now, I'm not saying that to be biased, like, oh yeah, if you're asking me, pay for it. I don't do one-on-one coaching, right? But if you're reaching out to someone locally, right, you know they have a few more properties in the portfolio than you do, then by all means, you should be figuring out how you can be a value add to them instead of a value ask. That's what most people do. They just value ask. Hey, I want to know if you can give me this free information. I want to know if you can do this for me for free or analyze that for free. What value are you contributing to them? Right? You have to give in order to receive. Right? But you should always be mindful of that. That's one of the things I've done. I remember I would go to networking events, I kid you not. And there's one guy, he had a bigger portfolio of mine. So I'm practicing what I'm preaching, telling you. And he had a long line of people want to talk to him. It's just like every speaker, right? They do a presentation. You're like, wow, this person has so much success. I have to talk to them, just pick their brain and have them help me out with this deal I'm working on. Long line. So you know what I did? I said, you know what? All these people are just sucking information from this dude. No one's contributing, right? So I skipped line, very assertive, had $20 in my hand, shook his hand, and said, hey, I really appreciate the value that you just provided. Do you mind if I talk to you for a second? And he looked at his hand, saw $20. He said, oh yeah, let's walk over here. Of course, everyone else looking at me like, oh, he's so rude. No, I was assertive, I was intentional, but I was thinking of value add, not value ask, right? So it's extremely important. So you want to network people at your level as well as above your level and always aim to provide value. So we talked about 25% towards learning, 25% towards networking. You might want to do another 25% of actually doing the work, meaning look at deals. Period. Look at deals. Look at deals all the time. So if you're looking at deals, that means that you might have access to the internet. You might be looking at deals on Zillow or MLS or CoStar or other platforms, or you might be able to reach out to other people in the industry. You might be able to, and that's the other 25% as well, is reach out to people in the industry, such as other mortgage lenders, other real estate agents, other property inspectors, and so forth. You want to be able to get familiar with their language and start speaking their language. You also want to get familiar with what they do, so that way, when you are ready to actually do a deal, you're up to speed, period. And that's pretty much how you should spend that 20 hours a week. 25% of your time learning, 25% of your time networking, 25% actually like looking at deals, and that's putting in the work, completing applications for mortgages, doing the work, and another 25% also just connecting with and learning what the people in the industry have to provide. All right, so let's say you're doing all these things, right? You're networking, you're learning, you're looking at deals, you did your personal financial situation, personal financial statement, all of that good stuff. If you're actually putting in the work, you're exercising these behaviors, guess what, my friend? Deals gonna be coming your way to the point that you're actually getting them on a contract. And that's so. Now you wanna switch gears and make sure that you analyze the deal correctly. Now this is some of the 3 criteria I always look for when buying a rental property. Number 1, it has the cash flow. Meaning the gross rents minus the operating expenses like taxes, insurance, property management fees, trash bill, things like that. Also minus the debt service, whether it's seller financing, private money, business credit, or I have to pay the mortgage. Those are debt that I've used to service that property, debt service. And then you want to subtract reserves as well, because it's smart to have reserves just in case you do any repairs or you have any vacancies. And what's left over is called cash flow. That's the profit in your pocket. So that's my first criteria when looking at a rental property. It must cash flow. And I'm talking about the buy and hold property, a buy and hold property. Right now, the next thing is the cash and cash return. I want to see how long it takes for me to get my initial investment back, period. So let me give you a scenario. Let's say that your yearly cash flow on a deal was $12,000, meaning you're cash flowing $1,000 a month, profit in your pocket. And let's say you invested $48,000 to acquire this property. Let's say it's a 4-unit, multi-unit property. The way you calculate your cash and cash return is as follows. You take that $12,000 of yearly cash flow, it's always yearly cash flow, divided by the amount of money you put into the deal. That doesn't include your business credit, or it doesn't include your mortgage payment or seller financing or whatever debt service you use to finance this deal. It's only your cash out of pocket, because you want to see how long it takes for that cash to return back into you. So if you take that $12,000 divided by $48,000, that's 25%, which means that you should get your initial investment of $48,000 in 4 years, because $12,000 a year times 4 equals $48,000. So that's how you calculate your cash return. Now you might be thinking, hey, that went over my head. Hey, just watch this again, watch the other videos, go to our website or ShareHub, and we have a lot of training there, okay? However, I do want you to understand this, right? That the deal has to provide a positive return. I get those questions a lot. You know, being that we have a ton of YouTube videos, we get a lot of comments, which I do appreciate, by the way. But they're like, hey, well, what about buying land? Like, what would be the return on that? Is it producing any cash flow for you? No, I just want to buy this lot. Well, if it's producing no cash flow, then your yearly cash flow is 0. 0 over 50,000, you put 50,000, that's an undefined fraction. It's 0. You follow? 0 over 50,000 is 0. So you're not receiving a return in that scenario, okay? Now you might be thinking, okay, great, Juan, but let me ask you this. What is the minimum return I should aim for? That's a really great question. Everyone has their own criteria. Some investors are more, they're less risky, they're more conservative. They tend to appreciate a property that provides with a cash and cash return maybe 7, 8, 9%, simply because they're buying a property in a good area or up and coming area, and they want just a consistent cash flow. We have to deal with repairs or certain types of tenants and so forth. But other people are more aggressive. They're like, hey, I can put up with that because I want the biggest return as possible so I can get more bang for my buck. Like I was when I got started investing. My main focus was, hey, let me see if I can get a cash on cash return of 10% or higher, which we still do, right? Either for myself or for clients. And you can get that as well, just depending on what market you're investing in. And the third criteria, outside of cash flow, cash return, is you want to buy a property in which you can improve the value. Value add, meaning, can you force appreciation by how you manage the property, by increasing the rents, decreasing the operating expenses like the water bill, water conservation kits, the light bill, energy efficient light bulbs, contesting the taxes to lower your tax rate, or calling your insurance company and bundling your insurance or asking for a discounted rate because one of your competitors is offering a discounted rate, using that to your advantage, and so forth, right? You're reducing expenses. Or you can improve the value outside of forced appreciation by buying a property less than what it's worth. That's called built-in equity. It's listed for $100,000, let's say it's a 4-unit, you get on the contract for $85,000. There you go, built-in equity, okay? Another way to improve value is just buying a property in a market that's naturally appreciating. That's great. your property's being worth more year by year simply because you bought that property in an emerging market, which is excellent. So just to sum it up, those are my 3 criteria. Cash flow, and I say give you a benchmark for that, at least $100 per unit per month. Cash and cash return, 10%. And then last, I like to improve the value. And I say overall, using those 3 strategies, built-in equity, forced appreciation, as well as a positive appreciating market, at least 10% or maybe 5%, I'll settle for that as well. So now that you understand what I look for in rentals, there's one thing I'll also like to share with you. This is what I look for as well. I look for rentals that I can qualify for, meaning I'm not looking for a 100-unit apartment complex if I only qualify for an $80,000 mortgage. I'm not looking for a 20-unit apartment building if all I qualify for is a $200,000 mortgage and only have $50,000 in savings to invest with, right? So you want to make sure that you find a rental property that fits your pockets. And that's phase 1 of our cash flow cycle. There's 4 phases. Phase 1 is find the money. So people who are in our program in which we find deals for clients, that's one of the first things we do when they enter the program, right? We determine their purchasing power. Meaning, okay, great. Based upon your financials, your personal financial statement, your credit report, your tax returns. Okay, and based upon the amount of money you want to invest with, let's say it's $50,000, more than likely you can get qualified for a $180,000 mortgage. And if we're averaging $30,000 per door, then that breaks the math down to a 6-unit. But hey, if you're doing conventional provides investment mortgages up to 4 units max, period. So even though you might qualify for a 6-unit, but being that you only qualify for 1 to 4 units, being that you have no experience investing in real estate whatsoever, you have to go the conventional route which caps you at 4 units, which is not a bad thing, right? I just want to share that with you. I find rental properties in which I qualify for, period. And I always seek to understand from my team. That's why I say, hey, you got to reach out to real estate professionals because they become your advisors. Hey, mortgage lender, I understand I can only qualify for a 4-unit, which is fine. Beggars can't be choosers, right? I get it, my first deal or 2. But what do I have to do moving forward in the future to set myself up to go big, multifamily, 5 units and up? That's the beauty of it. That's the point of reaching out to these real estate professionals to really see how they can help strategize with you to achieve your overall goal. And that's also the benefit and the beauty of working with investors who have a bigger portfolio because they'll be able to show you the game, right? Which I'm doing with you right now. Because I know some people have that mindset, oh nope, I'm just going to get a 16-unit and that's it. Or I just want a 20-unit, or I just want a 30% cash on cash return. You have to make sure that your goals are realistic, my friend. I don't want you to have unrealistic expectations, right? And I don't want you to feel dejected if you truly had in your mind a 10-unit, but you only can qualify for a 3-unit right now. You gotta get started how you can. You might have to crawl a little bit before you can start walking, before you can start running, and it's okay. There's something called a natural progression of a real estate investor. Meaning, got a 2-unit, year 1, year 2, 0 units, so flat line. Year 3, 1 unit, year 4, 4 units. After that, 21 units. Same thing can happen to you. You just gotta get started. Got it? Good. Now, if you're interested in getting started in real estate investing, whether you want us to do it for you, want to learn how to do it yourself, by all means, my friend, just check the links below in the description to learn more. All right, so that's it. That's what I look for in rental properties. If you're interested in learning more step-by-step plan of how to quit your day job through rental properties, hey, get the book. It's on Amazon. Check it out. Quit Your Day Job by yours truly. As always, guys, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately. Peace.